This movie tonight is the print was lent to us by our great friend Quentin Tarantino. That was the first time I'd seen this film. It was at one of his fests a few years back. He's a big fan of this movie, and you can really see why. It has the great Australian actor John Jarratt, who's sort of like a, I don't know, how would you describe you like John Jarratt? Yeah, you may have seen Wolf Creek. Did you ever see Wolf Creek, the Australian horror movie? Remember the creepy, of course you remember, because I remember the creepy old guy, the really rough dude. That was John Jarratt. He looks a lot different than this.
We called him Leatherface Dundee.
Yeah, that's pretty good. In this movie, he's sort of like, what was he?
Well, he was like a matinee idol kind of back in the 70s. He's the very young boy in Picnic at Hanging Rock, if anyone's seen the Peter Weir film.
Yeah.
And around 1985 when this film was out, he was kind of a leading man.
Mm-hmm.
So this
sort
was
of a Gary Cooper type, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit more laconic and irreverent possibly than Gary Cooper, but yeah.
He's good in this. He's not a flashy sort of part. It's sort of a square-jawed hero kind of role. But it has a little bit more depth maybe than your usual adventure film square-jawed sort of hero.
What's interesting about Dark Age, you have to forgive the crocodile is particularly bad, but we can forget that because that adds to the fun of the film. But it looks incredible. It was shot by Andrew Lesnie, who went on to win an Oscar for Lord of the Rings, and recently shot I Am Legend. This is one of the first films he photographed. He actually was a TV reporter on a kids show back in Australia. And executive produced by a guy called Tony Ganane, who was the Roger Corman of Australia. He produced lots and lots of these films. They all kind of were either creature features like this one or films about guys in comas with telekinetic powers or updatings of the Rasputin theme, and they were crazy. And you'll see lots of them in Not Quite Hollywood, which basically is 100 minutes of money shots from Australian exploitation films. So I encourage you to see that. And it's good that you've got pads and pens here because you can write down all the films that you really want to go and see afterwards.
Yeah. It's well, Not Quite Hollywood. The great thing about Not Quite Hollywood is it really is like it's a concentrated dose of those movies. Like it's like so many boobs and explosions and so much blood that like nobody can ever feel like they didn't get their money's worth, and you like learn a lot of stuff.
That's right. It's not PC, it's PB, which is pre-Brazilian, which means that it's a time when the Australian bush was up front, not out back. You can use that if you like.
I'll send you a check. Now this movie, in addition to having John Jarratt and a woman named Nikki Coghill, is quite cute, also has two Aboriginal actors who are probably the two best-known Aboriginal actors, I would guess.
Well, Gulpilil, yeah. Certainly, if anyone's seen Walkabout, the Nicholas Roeg film, Gulpilil was a young Aboriginal kid in that, and that was his first film. And he's still making films in Australia. He recently, I think, co-directed a film called 10 Canoes, which might have had some kind of screening out here. But he's certainly still working.
Yeah, it didn't do big business, but that was more about an Aboriginal kind of movie about that.
It wasn't the Aboriginal Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, I'm really eager to see it, actually. David Gulpilil, I don't know, I guess he added Lee David on. And Burnham plays the old Aboriginal dude in this, and he's so fucking cool. Like, he's a really cool old Aboriginal dude. He's like, everything he says is like perfect. He's really just kind of, I suspect he wasn't like a great actor of any sort, but he's just so guileless, and like the way he like delivers his lines, and it's sort of this like broken English.
Burnham was an Aboriginal elder, which meant that he actually had a lot of respect within the Aboriginal tribes. So he was, on most films, he actually worked as like to bring in Aboriginal actors into films and to make sure that everything was getting done right by their tribe's code. So yeah, he was a pretty important part in Australian film.
There's this one part where he's riding on the front of like a Land Rover, and the Land Rover crashes.
What is it? It's a runaway truck, and I haven't watched it frame by frame, but it does look like it's Burnham who does go flying off the front of that fucking truck.
Like 70 fucking feet! Like you got like the truck, he's just going, whoa! He's like 70 years old or something. It's pretty awesome.
Maybe it was hard to find a double.
I guess so. You probably can't find another Burnham. But my favorite scene of his, and we're kind of being scarce now, but is when he watches like a Western on TV. And
you've given away a lot of the movie before they've seen a frame of it.
You're not giving away much of the movie. Okay, you already gave away the part that the crocodile is really kind of laughably, like it's an incredibly beautiful shot movie, and it's just a gorgeous movie, but then the crocodile shows up and you have to really, like, you guys really work on this, suspend that disbelief, because the rest of the movie is so good.
Keep that going for Razorback tomorrow too, which is...